Good afternoon to each and every one of you. This is Dominic with another one of your video vlogs, your YouTube travel video vlogs. And this particular video segment is going on to my travel page. Currently, I am outside of the rant complex here. I live in Kingston, and I'm right next to US Route 9W that goes across behind me to Port Ewan. So I'm doing this video in particular because I'm sitting here gathering my thoughts. I want to try to figure out how to get this message across, but to also keep it short, brief, and to the point, because I know I tend to ramble about stuff. One thing I will say about me is that I am not perfect, nor do I pretend to be perfect under any stretch of the imagination. And I know there are certain things or certain flaws about me. Some things I do fall short on, so I will ask that you bear with me. I will do my best to keep it brief and short and to the point, but I will share this story. So a couple of weeks ago, it was about maybe last week or the week before, as most of you know, they made this rail trail. So this is the Kingston Point Rail Trail right here. This bridge that you see, in my previous vlog that you saw, you see me take you on the extended path, the green line. That's the Empire State Rail Trail that connects this rail trail and other parts of the rail trails in the Hudson Valley. So I made a video, and quite recently I had an incident where one of my back tires, because most of you know I ride a 21-inch, 21 speed, 26-inch Schwinn mountain bicycle. I ride it around town and I use it to go to work. And quite recently, my tires were popped. I had 3 popped tires within this past given week. And during the Easter Sunday, I spent some downtime, and I actually took some time out of my day to clean up any trash or litter, because quite recently I noticed that people, especially around my area, have been leaving trash and litter, particularly broken glass bottles, anything that's sharp, any nails sticking out. And while it may not seem to be a big thing to most people, when people come across it, their tires could actually puncture. Any small sharp item could easily puncture the person's tires. So I just wanted to make that point clear. And I know it seems like I'm going off tangent, and I'm going to go a little bit as to why this is very vital. So currently, as it stands, the bike is currently fixed. It still runs pretty well. I'm able to go to and from work every single week. But I wanted to make this point, and I don't want to make this a personal story, but I will state this. As most of you may or may not be aware, so I've been in Ulster County for a mere 20 years, and of those 20 years, 5 of those years was spent living here in this community. And quite recently, I noticed the neglect. A bunch of stuff has been leaving here on this ground, especially on the trails. I see a bunch of litter, trash, garbage, but mainly I see a lot of broken glass bottles. I've been finding a lot of broken glass bottles on certain parts of the streets, as well as rail paths, and this is an endangerment to the person coming across, because most of you know I don't drive a car, and it's important to note that people don't drive cars, and they don't always have access to transportation. So biking is one of those modes of transportation. And I'm not going to deny the worldly events. Currently, we're living in unprecedented times, and we're seeing all these issues going on across the world. We're seeing the Derek Chauvin trial with the George Floyd murdering, as well as the 20-year-old that got shot in Minneapolis. We're not denying any of these things. These things are going across the world today, and it's sad and unfortunate, and it pains me to see all these things. But at the same time, this is the point that I wanted to make here. See, because sometimes it's the little things in life that matters the most. Now, I've been out here at least 4 times this month cleaning some of these streets and parks, mainly the rail trails like this one, because I've been finding a lot of trash and litter. So I've been coming out constantly trying to clean and maintain these trails. And here's the message that I wanted to make here, because if folks around me, especially in my demo, the millennials are between 25 to 40. I fall in that category. And I hear people all the time complaining about issues, especially in Ulster County. People are always complaining about the crime rates. People are always complaining about these accidents and these shootings. People are always complaining in general about their shortcomings, but nobody's taking the initiative. The point that I'm trying to make here is that no one has taken the initiative to step up to the plate and take a stance in something that you care about. And This is actually a small scale example. Now, the rail trails may not, this is completely irrelevant to most people, and to some people this is not going to matter. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that the main point of this video is that if you are a person living in Ulster County, particularly in this area, if you are truly genuinely caring about issues that are going on around here, if you generally care, my thing is, why don't you take a stance? Take a stance in something that you care about. If you're that concerned about people's well-being and all these incidents and all these deaths that are going on around us, why don't you take a stance into something? You see all these people out here making all these protests, going into these rallies and marches. Why don't you take a stance in something that you care about? Something like this, for instance. I know, again, this doesn't relate to the long-scale issues that are going on across the world, but this is just a small-scale example. Again, I wanted to make this point to those of us in my age demo. If it bothers you that much, why don't you take the initiative and do something about it? Even if it's just one small thing. It doesn't have to be everything. I'm not saying to go out and run for office, but go out, actually take the initiative, pick up your trash or any pieces of litter or anything that you see, anything that bothers you, take a stance in something. And I guess that's where I'll leave the video off, and I don't mean to sound harsh, but that's just the reality of it, because as long as we complain and take no initiative, as long as we're always complaining and getting down, nothing is going to be done. And this town in particular, because there's always going to be problems, no matter what. But if nobody's taking a stance, nothing is going to change. Everything is just going to remain unchanged. So that's the video that I wanted to make on today. I hope some of you, or if I touch one person, at least I did my job. But that was the point that I wanted to make clear. And I hope this message touches someone. Like I said, I'm not going to take much of your time, but this is just sort of like my rants. But I'll go ahead and conclude this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.